name is Jordan Lavin. I'm 32 years old and was born profoundly deaf. I was born 3 months premature and weighed in at 11 inches and 31 ounces. My parents were told that I probably would not survive, but I began my fight. After 4 long, rocky hard months, I waited. My deafness was not discovered till I was 2.5 years old, mainly because the focus was on my physical development. Profoundly deaf means that without my hearing aids, I cannot hear you. To give you an idea of what it's like is if I take my hearing aids out and someone would scream in my ear, I would not be able to hear you. Doctors told my parents that I would have to learn sign language and that I would only be able to communicate with people who knew sign language. It was at that time that my parents attended a conference in Toronto. While there, they heard many speakers saying that it was possible to teach a deaf child to speak. There was one speaker from California named Dr. Griffiths, who left a huge impression on my parents. They particularly liked her words, which were, if someone tells you that your hearing impaired child can't do something, don't you believe it? Being so impressed with Dr. Griffiths, we went to California to further our research. We spent 3 weeks at her center learning their methods of tackling childhood deafness. While there, I was fitted with hearing aids and taught methods to use my hearing that I have to learn to develop speech. One of the concepts that we were told to remember is first and foremost that a hearing impaired child has to be treated like every other child. The child has to be taught the confidence that they can do anything and that nothing is beyond their reach. My parents took that advice, and although it was a monumental struggle many times, they stuck with their ideals. The center in California advocated attending a hearing preschool so that it was around hearing children to pick up their speech patterns. This situation presented as much of a challenge to my parents as it did for me. Every day after class, my mother, armed with her notebook, would discuss with the teacher the concepts of the day. This was to assure that anything I possibly missed could be reviewed at home. I was fortunate enough to have parents that were very supportive of me in regards to my disability. I feel that in order for a child with special needs to be successful, the parents have to make a full-time commitment to the progress of their child. Schools can help, teachers can help, but the major responsibility falls heavily on the parents. Teaching someone to speak with the kind of hearing loss I have was an incredibly difficult task. My parents had to follow me around describing everything I saw and touched. For example, during a meal, with a description of every item on the table, its function, color, size, and quantity. You are eating a hamburger which comes from a cow. The hamburger sits on the bun. which is white on the inside and brown on the outside. The bun is made from flour, which is baked. The red stuff is ketchup, which comes from tomatoes, etc. We did this for every single event all day long. Everywhere we went, my parents took pictures, and when we got home, we created a book about that experience. That way we would discuss every detail of our adventure to allow me to learn the vocabulary words. This could be an idea that you could do with the kids that you are working with here at Friendship Circle. Besides having speech lessons with my tutor, we had hour-long speech and language lessons at home daily. I was also taught 5 new words every day and in reading. My parents wanted to make sure that my language development would be on par with any of the hearing kids I was with. With all this speech and language work, you probably think I didn't have time for anything else. However, my parents made sure I did everything everyone else did. I went to mother-toddler programs, took gymnastics and skating lessons, all within the first year of finding out about my hearing loss. To make matters more complicated, I was a wild man who was always curious and couldn't be left alone for a second. I was able to get out of my crib before I was 1 year old, and although unable to walk, I crawled